Welcome back. Now, I like the weather that we're going to be getting. Not too many storms, a good 80 to 90 degrees, so we'll see that coming up. Now, it seems like it's far away, but we're getting closer and closer to football season. We're already in the first week of NFL training camps, and each of our local professional teams have a lot of questions that need to be answered. Starting with the Ravens, most likely they probably had the biggest question that needed to be answered, or maybe I should say the biggest and most important question. What is their future? What is the future of that man you see on their screen right there, Lamar Jackson? Some NFL players seeking a new contract have declined to practice at training camp. Jackson is not one of them. Teammates said there was no indication that his contract was on his mind during Wednesday's practice. Now, Jackson is heading into the fifth and final season of his rookie deal. His base salary of $23 million is guaranteed this year, but there's no guarantees of anything else after that. And every time he steps on the field, he's risking an injury that could reduce his future earning potential. I mean, he did get hurt last year, which kind of derailed the Ravens season. Now, some agents would advise a client in Jackson's position not to practice until his team guarantees him significant money for years to come. But Jackson isn't doing that, and Jackson doesn't have an agent, so it's unclear to what he's seeking on his next contract. If he plays it out for the 2022 season on his rookie deal, he is slated to become a free agent in March. And I think that kind of overrides a lot of the things that the Ravens have going on. But then we've got the Commanders who are seeking to take a step up in success compared to last year's disappointing season. Now, they have questions on both sides of the ball. We've already talked about Carson Wentz multiple times in the past, so before I get to him, I got to talk about that man right there. On the defensive side of the ball, how will they look without Chase Young to start the year? He's projected to miss at least the season opener, maybe more, because of a knee injury that he suffered late last season. The timetable isn't surprising, given that Coach Ron Rivera said on Tuesday Young would be taking the most time of the four players placed on the physically unable to perform list. But yesterday was the first time that Rivera publicly provided any sort of timetable for Young, who is the number 2 pick in the 2020 draft. Now, Washington's first regular season game is September 11th, and Young tore his right ACL on November 14th, so at that point it would be 11 months. Actually 10 months, excuse me. And then there's Wentz mania. Now, so far he's been reported to make an impact on the team in the first couple days of training camp, and we know how his time with the Eagles ended and how his 1-year stint with the Colts didn't fare any better. But it's a new year, it's a new team, and maybe 3 is his lucky number. Maybe his third team will bring out the best in him. And last but not least, we got the EAGLES Eagles. The Eagles made a surprising playoff trip last season, and they added on top of that, you see A.J. Brown right there, Hassan Reddick, James Bradbury, Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean to the roster. Jalen Hurts is going to go into his second season as the full-time starting QB with heightened expectations after improving year 1 with Nick Sirianni. And he's going into his second season as a head coach. Now, there's reason for the city of brotherly love to be excited with their football team. Now, Jason Kelce notices the Eagles' talent this year too, but he's been on other hyped Eagles teams in the past that did not live up to expectations. Now, his message to the 2022 Eagles was loud and clear: don't get lost in the sauce. Don't let the hype distract you from the goal. The year that Philadelphia won the Super Bowl, few picked them to even reach the postseason. But in 2011, when the preseason hype named the Eagles the dream team, that entire season was a disaster. And then there was 2015, when the Eagles were going to enhance Chip Kelly's vision and take over the league. And Philly controls his own destiny for the 2022 season, which is the message Kelce has been preaching. So again, don't get lost in the sauce. I'll repeat that again. Don't get lost in the sauce. That's my advice for the Eagles. Now, it's time to compare 3 teams and 3 different situations. Now, I think personally the Eagles are in the best position to make the biggest leap. The only question marks they have are about Jalen Hurts' development and their linebacker core. But I think Hurts will be better, even better than he was last year. And I think the acquisition of A.J. Brown will spread the field wide open. Wide open. I mean, Devontae Smith is going to have to take a leap because he's going to have a wide open field. They're just not going to be able to cover him the same way that they did last year because he's going to be playing next to a true number 1 receiver. Everywhere else, the team is solid. Last season, they made the playoffs, gained valuable experience, and this team is still young, but I see why the hype is there. But I think there's enough leadership on the team to keep them humble and focused and hungry. There aren't many holdovers from that Super Bowl team from 5 years back, so these Eagles have a lot to play for. Now, the Ravens are a team I think will also be solid next year, but that team reached 8-3 by week 12 and then ended the season on a 6-game losing streak, finishing 8-9. And then you got the Commanders. And if you got to figure out what's going on with them, again, I think the Ravens will be a wild card contender. But again, the Commanders, they'll go as far as Carson Wentz takes them. And I think the ceiling for them may be a wild card. And if everything goes right for them, and I mean everything, maybe the divisional, but that's a stretch. Now, that's all I got to say about the NFL. We still have a little bit of time left. So before we wrap up the show, we got to get one more final forecast in from Chief Meteorologist Rich Werdzik. And he's going to tell you how much sunscreen you need to be putting on when you hit the beach tomorrow. The final forecast is up next.
Hi, my name is Wyatt Wright. I play middle linebacker at Woodbridge High School, and you're watching Delmarva Sports Insider.